Are you aware that your activities in the first 60 minutes after waking could potentially determine if you'll reach 90 years or older? This surprising fact is true. Most individuals are unaware that they're undermining their lifespan every morning before they've even completed their breakfast. In this presentation, I'll unveil 7 morning practices common among those who regularly live into their 90s and beyond. The most remarkable aspect? Practice number 4 requires only half a minute of your time but might extend your lifespan by years. These are insights most physicians won't share with you, yet the research is conclusive. Let me introduce you to Walter. At age 65, Walter observed his friends beginning to develop significant health conditions, cardiac issues, mental deterioration, and mobility limitations. However, today at 93, Walter continues to live independently, operates his vehicle, and even dedicates time to volunteering at the neighborhood community garden 3 times weekly. What's his key to longevity? It's not hereditary factors. Most of his relatives barely reached 75 years of age. The transformation occurred when Walter discovered and implemented 7 specific morning habits after participating in a health workshop at 65. These seemingly minor adjustments completely altered his health trajectory. While his contemporaries were declining, Walter was flourishing. When I inquired about what made the difference, he immediately pointed to his morning routine. "What I do in the first hour after awakening has preserved my life," he told me, and today I'll share Walter's secrets with you. Are you prepared to learn about the morning practices that could completely transform your health after 60? Let's begin. Habit 1. Immediate hydration. Do you understand what's occurring inside your body right now if you haven't consumed water yet today? Your blood is literally becoming thicker, placing dangerous strain on your heart and brain. The very first action centenarians take upon waking isn't checking their mobile device or switching on the television, it's drinking water, and the timing is absolutely crucial. Leading kidney specialists and longevity researchers at Harvard Medical School have discovered that overnight dehydration accelerates aging by 31%. Dr. Jessica Rothman, Director of Renal Health at Harvard, explains, "During sleep, your body progressively dehydrates, creating a condition we call morning blood sludging that forces your heart to work significantly harder and damages small blood vessels in the brain and kidneys. This damage accumulates over time and dramatically accelerates aging." Consider Sylvia's experience. At 72, she was struggling with chronic kidney problems, persistent fatigue, and concerning memory issues. Her physicians were considering dialysis. But when she began consuming 16 ounces of water immediately upon waking, before even getting out of bed, her kidney function improved by 28% in just 60 days. "My doctor couldn't believe the change in my blood work," Sylvia told me. "He asked what medication I was taking, and I told him, just water, first thing in the morning." Here's what you should do starting tomorrow morning. Place a full glass of water on your nightstand before sleeping. The moment you open your eyes, before your feet touch the floor, drink the entire glass. Not coffee, not tea, water. Room temperature is preferable, as cold water can shock your system. Make this non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. Your organs are desperately awaiting hydration after hours of sleep. Don't make them wait another minute. Can you commit to this simple habit that could dramatically improve your kidney function and cardiovascular health? The longest-lived people in the world don't consider this optional. It's essential. Do you already do this? If not, when will you start? Tomorrow morning could be the beginning of your transformation. Habit 2. Exposure to natural morning light. Are you undermining your circadian rhythm every morning without realizing it? If you're not getting natural light within 30 minutes of waking up, you're missing one of the most powerful longevity triggers discovered by researchers. Research from the National Institute on Aging demonstrates that exposure to morning sunlight within 30 minutes of awakening increases melatonin production later in the day by 73%. Dr. Andrew Peterson, principal investigator on circadian health and aging, explains, morning sunlight exposure initiates a sequence of hormonal processes that influence everything from your sleep quality to your metabolism and even your cognitive function for the next 24 hours. Failing to receive this morning light signal is linked to a 37% higher risk of developing neurodegenerative conditions after age 70. Take Benjamin's case. At 75, he had been struggling with persistent insomnia for decades. He had attempted everything from prescription sleeping medications to costly supplements. Nothing provided lasting results. Then his physician suggested a straightforward adjustment. Spend 10 minutes outdoors immediately after waking, regardless of weather conditions. Within 2 weeks, Benjamin was falling asleep more quickly and maintaining sleep longer. But what astonished him most were the unexpected advantages. My blood pressure decreased by 15 points and my afternoon energy decline completely vanished, all from simply sitting on my porch with my morning coffee instead of remaining indoors. Don't delay implementing this transformative habit. Tomorrow morning, make it your priority to expose yourself to natural sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. Even during overcast days, outdoor light is 100 times brighter than indoor illumination and provides the essential wavelengths your brain requires. If mobility presents challenges, merely sitting beside an open window can make a difference. During winter months or inclement weather, consider a medical-grade light therapy device as a supplement, though natural light is always preferable. This isn't solely about improved sleep. It's about resetting your entire biological clock to decelerate aging at the cellular level. Are you prepared to give your body this gift tomorrow morning? What's preventing you from stepping outside tomorrow? Your body is literally awaiting this signal to optimize your health. Habit 3. Gentle movement before breakfast. What you do before your morning coffee could determine how your joints feel at 80. Most individuals make the critical error of remaining inactive until they've had breakfast, unknowingly triggering inflammatory processes that accelerate joint deterioration. Rheumatologists at Mayo Clinic discovered that gentle morning movement reduces joint deterioration by up to 65% in older adults. Dr. Lisa Monroe, Chief of Geriatric Medicine at Mayo Clinic, states, "Our research indicates that morning movement before eating activates a process called autophagy, essentially cellular cleaning, that's crucial for joint longevity. We've observed significant differences in inflammatory markers between seniors who move before breakfast versus those who eat first." This transformed life for Harriet. At 68, she was scheduled for knee replacement surgery after years of debilitating arthritis pain. As a final attempt, her physical therapist recommended 7 minutes of gentle movement immediately after waking, before consuming anything. Within 3 months, Harriet's pain had diminished so significantly that her surgeon canceled her operation. "I thought my active days were behind me," Harriet shared. "Now I can interact with my grandchildren again, and it all began with those few minutes of morning movement." Here's your action plan. Tomorrow morning, after drinking your water but before any food or coffee, dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to gentle joint lubricating movements. This isn't about strenuous exercise. It's about movement that feels beneficial. Try small circular motions with your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and wrists. Stand up and gently sway from side to side. Touch your toes if possible, or simply bend forward slightly. The key is continuous gentle movement that awakens your joints and muscles. Can you sense how stiff your body is first thing in the morning? That's communicating something important. Don't disregard it. This brief window of opportunity activates longevity pathways that remain inactive if you stay immobile. Will you prioritize these few minutes tomorrow to safeguard your joints for decades to come? Envision moving with ease at 85 or 90. Those who accomplish this aren't genetically fortunate. They're simply performing this morning ritual consistently. Will you join their ranks? Habit 4. The 30-second breathing practice. This half-minute breathing habit is the single most effective longevity practice shared by nearly all individuals over 90 years old. Yet most people completely disregard it. What if I told you that your morning breathing pattern establishes your stress response for the entire day, potentially adding or subtracting years from your lifespan? Researchers from Blue Zones regions, where people routinely live beyond 100, documented that centenarians practice specific breathing patterns that reduce cellular stress by up to 48%. Dr. Michael Cohen, who studies longevity practices in Sardinia, Italy, reports, "We've measured significant differences in inflammatory markers and stress hormones between those who practice intentional morning breathing and those who don't." This brief practice appears to stimulate the vagus nerve, essentially signaling your body that it's safe to allocate resources to longevity rather than survival. In Sardinia's mountain villages, where men routinely live into their late 90s, Douglas observed a morning ritual among the elders. Every morning, before anything else, they would stand outside their homes and perform a series of deep, rhythmic breaths. When researchers measured their heart rate variability and cortisol levels, they found patterns similar to those of much younger individuals. One 96-year-old shepherd explained, "I breathe in the morning to prepare my body for a good day. If I skip this, I feel it by noon. My energy diminishes, my thinking becomes foggy." Here's the 30-second practice that could transform your health. Immediately after your morning water, and preferably while receiving natural light, perform the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale quietly through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Then exhale completely through your mouth for 8 seconds, making a whooshing sound. Repeat this cycle 3-4 times. That's it. 30 seconds that signals your body to activate longevity pathways rather than stress responses. Does this sound too simple to be effective? The science is clear. This brief practice has measurable effects on blood pressure, inflammation, and stress hormones. Will you invest these 30 seconds tomorrow morning? It might be the highest return on investment you'll ever get for your health. Are you breathing fully right now as you watch this? Probably not. Most of us breathe shallowly, using only 30% of our lung capacity. Start changing that pattern tomorrow morning. Habit 5. Protein and fiber-rich breakfast. Is your breakfast silently undermining your chances of living past 90? The truth is, what most Americans eat for breakfast is actively accelerating their aging process, and many don't realize it until it's too late. Nutritional gerontologists have identified specific breakfast patterns among long-lived populations that reduce inflammatory markers by up to 53%. Dr. Valerie Richardson, lead researcher at the Longevity Nutrition Institute, explains, "The first meal of the day establishes metabolic patterns that influence everything from insulin sensitivity to microinflammation levels." Our research shows that a morning meal containing at least 25 grams of protein and 8 grams of fiber creates a metabolic environment that supports cellular repair rather than cellular damage. Consider Gerald's experience. At 68, he was diagnosed with prediabetes and rising inflammatory markers despite not being overweight. His doctor predicted he would develop full diabetes within 2 years. Instead of immediately starting medication, Gerald worked with a nutritionist to transform his breakfast. He transitioned from his usual toast and coffee to a protein and fiber-rich morning meal. 6 months later, his blood markers had completely normalized. "The only thing I modified was breakfast," Gerald emphasized. My doctor couldn't believe it was possible to reverse the trends just by changing one meal. Here's your morning meal formula for longevity. Combine a high-quality protein source, eggs, Greek yogurt or plant-based protein if you prefer, with fiber-rich foods, berries, chia seeds, oats or vegetables. Add a source of healthy fat like avocado, nuts, or olive oil. Completely avoid refined carbohydrates before 10 a.m. They trigger insulin spikes that accelerate aging. Can you implement this change tomorrow morning? The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't require additional time. You're already consuming breakfast. You're just switching what you eat to activate longevity pathways instead of inflammatory ones. Is continuing your current breakfast worth risking your health after 70? Make the switch tomorrow and experience the difference within days. What will you choose for breakfast tomorrow? This decision may seem insignificant, but its compounding effect over years is enormous. Habit 6. Morning social connection. The morning ritual that's more powerful than any supplement for extending your life. Meaningful human connection. Did you know that isolation affects your body as dramatically as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? What most people don't realize is that when this connection happens matters almost as much as the connection itself. A landmark 80-year Harvard study revealed that morning social connections increase longevity more significantly than quitting smoking or exercising. Dr. Robert Miller, who led the latest phase of this multi-generational research, states, "We found that participants who engaged in some form of meaningful social contact before 10 a.m. had 29% lower all-cause mortality over the study period." Morning social interaction appears to establish neurotransmitter patterns that benefit cardiovascular and immune function throughout the day. In Okinawa, Japan, home to some of the world's longest-lived people, Nancy observed a fascinating pattern. While researching centenarians, each morning neighbors would gather briefly before starting their days, some for just 5 minutes of conversation. One 97-year-old woman explained, "If I don't speak to someone in the morning, my whole day feels wrong. We check on each other every morning. It's how we've lived so long." When researchers measured her inflammatory markers and compared them to socially isolated seniors, the differences were striking, equivalent to being decades younger biologically. Here are 3 ways to incorporate this life-extending habit tomorrow morning. First, make a brief morning call to a friend or family member. Even 3 minutes counts. Second, if you live with others, create a meaningful morning check-in ritual rather than passing like ships in the night. Third, if you live alone, consider establishing a regular morning meeting with neighbors or friends, even once a week to start. Can't do any of these? Even a friendly exchange with a barista or store clerk activates some of the same biological benefits. The key is making human connection a non-negotiable part of your morning, just like brushing your teeth. Are you willing to prioritize this tomorrow? Your body literally cannot thrive without it, no matter what supplements or exercise regimen you follow. Who will you connect with tomorrow morning? Your body is waiting for this critical signal to activate longevity pathways. Habit 7. Directed gratitude practice. The one mental habit that people in their 90s practice every single morning without fail. Intentional gratitude, but not the vague, be thankful advice you've heard before. There's a specific way to practice gratitude that activates longevity pathways in your brain and body. Neuroscientists at Yale University discovered that morning gratitude practices physically restructure the aging brain and reduce cortisol by 23%. Dr. Sarah Jenkins, who specializes in neuroplasticity in aging adults, explains, "We can actually observe brain changes on fMRI scans when seniors practice directed gratitude consistently in the morning. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and emotional regulation, displays increased activity patterns similar to those of much younger brains. But timing is crucial. This effect is significantly stronger when practiced within an hour of waking. Patricia's story demonstrates this powerfully. At 74, she was struggling with hypertension that wasn't responding well to medication. Her cardiologist was concerned about her heart function. After learning about gratitude research, Patricia began a simple morning gratitude practice focused specifically on her body and health. Within 3 months, her blood pressure had stabilized, and her heart rate variability, a key marker of cardiovascular health, had improved by 31%. My doctor asked what medication I had changed, Patricia shared. When I told him it was just my morning thinking pattern, he was skeptical until he saw the consistent readings over time. Here's the 2-minute gratitude practice that transformed Patricia's health. Immediately after your breathing exercise, place your hand over your heart. Name 3 specific parts of your body you're grateful for and why. For example, I'm grateful for my eyes that let me see my grandchildren's faces. I'm grateful for my legs that still carry me where I need to go. I'm grateful for my heart that's been beating faithfully for me all these years. The key is specificity and directing gratitude toward your body, not just circumstances. This isn't magical thinking. It creates a measurable shift in nervous system function that influences everything from inflammation levels to immune response. Will you try this 2-minute practice tomorrow morning? It costs nothing, requires no special equipment, and could literally add years to your life. Have you thanked your body today for all it does for you? Or are you focusing on what's wrong with it? Your perspective literally changes your physiology. Now you know the 7 morning habits that could transform your health after 60 and dramatically increase your chances of joining the elite group of vibrant 90-plus-year-olds. You don't need to be perfect. Even adopting just 3 of these habits can create significant changes in your health trajectory. Remember Walter? He started with just 2 habits and added the others gradually. The key is starting tomorrow, not waiting for the perfect time that never comes. Your morning routine literally programs your body for youth or for aging. Which will you choose? These habits aren't optional luxuries. They're essential practices for anyone who wants to not just reach their 90s, but to arrive there with energy, clarity, and purpose. Which of these 7 morning habits will you implement tomorrow? Your future self is depending on the decision you make right now. If you found this information valuable, please click that like button and subscribe for more life-changing health secrets that most people over 60 never discover. Which of these 7 morning habits are you already practicing? Let me know in the comments below. Share this video with someone you care about. It might just be the gift that adds years to their life.